Hey, everybody, it's Eric alongside Rod, and we're thrilled to have 2023 signed recruit, Jeremy Fears from West Joliet, Illinois. Jeremy, thanks so much for joining the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Did you have a nice Christmas? Do you guys do lots of traveling and stuff, or do you pretty much just stay at home?
This Christmas, I enjoyed it with my family, stayed at home. I went to my grandmother's house, and that was really about it.
That's nice. Is that pretty much all in Chicago?
No, actually, it's in Joliet. My mom side of the family is from Chicago, but this Christmas, I stay on my dad's side in Joliet.
Very nice. I used to, my grandfather's from Rockford, so we used to drive kind of just past Joliet, getting there every Christmas from Michigan. So again, thanks so much for coming on the show. And, we're all excited to have you and the class coming in for 2023. When watching videos on Jaron Jackson, there was he would talk about the recruitment in Michigan State was a lot different. And that he would say that, they come up to him and because they were watching most of his games, they'd say things like, you kind of stunk up the joint last night and sort of things like that, which was different than he had from other schools.
Right.
Did you feel like the recruitment is a little different in Michigan State than other schools that were talking to you?
One thing I definitely say that stood out with Michigan State is whether you play good or bad, you're definitely going to hear it. They're completely honest. It's not like maybe some schools might only want to tell you the good and not really tell you the bad. But I know definitely I had a few games where maybe I remember I wasn't really taking care of the ball, maybe having some turnovers. And Coach Monty and Coach Izzo, they told me about it. But that was definitely, you obviously see they cares, and it's important to help you grow. So that was really something different that a lot of schools didn't really do.
Is that a little bit what sort of swayed you a little bit towards Michigan State? Just that commitment to sort of you and making you a better player?
Definitely, that was a big part. Just obviously because I see that, a team and a program and a coach is actually they care. And it shows early, way before I even touch foot on campus. So just being able to help me, even though I'm not with them at the current moment. So that's big.
Hi, Jeremy. This is Rod, Eric's partner in this. And after he asked you a little bit about your recruitment in Michigan State, we'll come back to that a little later. But I wanted to ask you about your current season at Joliet West. And you're playing with your brother, who's also considered to be a very highly regarded prospect. And he's a sophomore, I think, right?
Yes, correct.
Is this the first time you've played on the same team as your brother this year?
Actually, this is my second time, ever really playing with Jeremiah. The first time was my 8th grade year, and he was in 6th grade. And, that was the last real time that we played together. It was a great experience, and we had a really good team actually that year, my 8th grade year. And he was young, kind of small, but this is actually my second time, my senior, his sophomore year. No.
Now, a lot of our listeners know this already. You played last year at La Lu, and then I think you were originally was it overtime that you were going to play with originally, and then you decided to come back to Joliet to play your senior year?
Yeah. The senior year I was transferring, and I had recently was saying I was going to overtime, but, just last minute, I just wanted to come home and come play with my brother for my senior year.
And so playing with your brother, I assume, was a big part of that, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just knowing that we will have a good team. And, it's my last year that maybe potentially I can actually get a real chance to play with him, be home, develop, get better. And this is kind of the last year for everything, because in a few months I'll be off to Michigan State and starting a new life.
Has it been what you thought it would be like?
Definitely. It's been great. Tournaments, shootouts, family bonding experience, team, just everything, a lot of energy and excitement.
Now, you guys, I was able to watch a couple of games online. I think you were playing a tournament. Was it in St. Louis that you guys were playing, like several games where you played St. Rita and some other schools?
The Washington, Illinois tournament. Yes.
Okay. So down that area though. you guys, and you won both of the games that I happen to see. I would assume winning a state championship this year is pretty high on your list of things to achieve. Do you think your team is on track to do that right now? Are you where you hoped you would be by this point in the season?
Yeah, state championship is really number one on the list, but we kind of doing this steps by steps. First, make it to regionals, regional championship, all that. But state championship is definitely on the list, and I think our team is right on track. Usually, you want to play your best basketball by the end of the year and not early in the year. So everybody's finally understanding how to win, what we need to do to win. And I just think it's really big for us that we're becoming a team and knowing what we need to do to execute and win. So it's really early still. We're only 11 games in.
Yeah. You're very wise beyond your years. The fact that you recognize this may be your last chance to play with your brother and to seize that opportunity. Do you feel like because you signed with Michigan State a little bit earlier, that it allowed you that opportunity to sort of, make those decisions? You didn't have to, you kind of ended the recruitment process, right? With not having to play with Lalu. So you could just kind of do what you need to do to work on your game, but also to have that time with your brother that you wouldn't ordinarily have had an opportunity.
I think in there early, I think it was good. And I don't know, I wouldn't say bad, but just because, the coaches that maybe were still recruiting me would still come out and recruit him. But definitely in there early, it gave me a chance to really focus on just basketball. I didn't really have to worry about a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages. I can just worry about locking in on my season and still talking to Coach Izzo, Coach Monty, Coach TK, just talking to all those coaches and just only focus on one school and where I was committed to. So it definitely made it easier and, a lot of stress off me. And I can also help him too, tell him what to look for, who he's talking to. So that's really,
You've had a lot of experience playing for USA basketball. And I think that's probably given you experiences that a lot of other, even highly rated players don't necessarily have. What are the biggest things that you've learned in playing international basketball that's helped you improve your game?
One of the biggest things that helped me improve my game, I'll definitely say, USA was a different experience. Just to realize that it's not really only good players in the US. It's a lot of great players all over the country. Spain, France, Canada, to give you a different experience. And on USA, 1 through 12 could be a starter anywhere. So it really was about the team and the role and just understanding what you needed to come in and do. My first year, I was kind of like the 7th, 8th man. It was new for me. Never really came off the bench. But once I realized, like, when I come in, any minutes I get, I'm going to just do whatever I need for my team. I think it helped. That was one of the biggest things that helped me grow just off that. Just knowing I needed to come in and make a change in whatever minutes and however much time I had.
No one's perfect outside my wife, who reminds me usually, but so your game, obviously, there are things you're working on. What is it that you think is like the thing you're working on most right now that you maybe struggle with, or it's sort of more of a weakness that you want to try and get shored up a little bit before you come to on campus?
Definitely, reading the floor, because obviously college is a lot different than high school. The body size, the players, the speed of the game, everything's a lot different. So just trying to make sure I stay sharp on my reads and making sure I take care of the ball, because that's really a big thing. Taking care of the ball in college, every possession matters. Shooting, making sure I'm making shots and making open shots when I get the chance and opportunity. And just everything all around, just making sure I stay really sharp, because I know that was efficiency and usage. Whatever I do on the court is going to matter, because every possession matters.
Now, turning back to Michigan State centered stuff. I'm sure you know Michigan State's got a long history going back to Magic Johnson of great point guards. But for me, in watching you play and in reading about you, what other people have to say about your game, listening to other people's takes, the guy that I get reminded of more than anybody else by you is Mateen Cleaves. And I'm sure you know he was an extremely important player in the history of Michigan State basketball and Tom Izzo's program in particular. And I say that because you share so many, or seem to share so many traits with him. You know, great defensive player. You're physically tough. You seem to be a guy who's focused on leading, and who winning is very, very important to, you know, which gets beyond all the, well, can he shoot? Can he pass? All of that stuff, sort of the intangible stuff. Have you had a chance to meet him on any of your visits to MSU so far?
Yeah, actually, I think I met him like 3-4 times. So I know who he is. I have his number. We talk, you know, I have him on social media. But I remember I came to, I don't know what game. Maybe it was Michigan State versus Purdue at Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
But alumni weekend. So just I met him a few times, and you know, we talked, and he just like had a lot of fire, even like not playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And have the MSU coaches, when they were recruiting you, did they ever bring up that comparison at all?
No, we never really talked about, you know, comparison, but I think playing in the NIBC with Alan Merritt, that was the first time I heard it. Adam, he said Mateen Cleaves, and then like it just kind of sticking. And you know, sometimes around Twitter I'll see like some people compares, but that was really about it.
Yeah, you know, when it came to this recruiting class, you were the first one to commit, and then sort of after you, there is almost like a bunch of dominoes fell in, and you were obviously very active in social media, and I assume sort of behind the scenes too, and texting and stuff. Did you have fun being part of that process? And how, you know, how did you sort of know who to contact? Did you sort of just figure out from who the coaches are focusing on, and you just kind of started talking to those guys?
I did have a lot of fun, you know, because I think, in my opinion, I'm a great recruiter. Always been able to like persuade players to come play with me. So I think was pretty easy for me, easy and hard, but I think it was, you know, overall pretty easy for me. But also I found out from the coaches, so they just tell me like who they're looking at and like kind of who they like the most. And my goal, my purpose, you know, go text them, try to be best friends with them, you know, tell them we can make something special, come play. Yeah, and they trusted it and fell in love, and just like I did. So here we are.
Did you know Gehrig and Cohen much before MSU offered them?
I know Booker after they started recruiting him, and I got to know Booker really well. I did not know Gehrig. I knew a little of Cohen just because of USA kind of and EYBL, and also I played him. Lalamere played his school Legacy, but Gehrig was really the only one kind of I didn't really know, and I, you know, got to know really well.
Now, are you as excited as we are? And I think I'm speaking for most Michigan State fans in saying this, to think about next year and throwing high feed lobs to Cohen, because you almost can't throw it too high, right?
Actually, we was craziest when me, Gehrig, Booker, and Cohen, we all took our official visit at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, we're out there just, you know, being able to shoot on the court with the, well, not really with the team, but being able to be on the court, and we were just trying anything. Cohen is ultra athletic, but being ready to throw lobs next year is gonna bring the house down. So I really can't.
I agree.
We're all super excited. Yeah, watching Cohen jump anyway. Wow, you just can't wait to watch a guy like that out there on the break. You know, it's been been interesting recruitment because it has been so public. What is you've played with Booker some, right? And how's it been like playing with him? And did it change when you guys both knew you were going to be at Michigan State?
How was it playing with Booker? He's special. He's like a 6'10" shooter, and I'm really well off pick and roll. So it's like, and I dissect the game, so I know if I'm coming off a screen, if they big helps, Booker's gonna get an open three. If they don't help, I'm gonna get a layup. So it's just really picking the other teams apart, and he makes it really easy for me because he can shoot. So he spaces the floor and makes it hard for the other team. So just being able to play with him. Also, he's a lob threat, block shots. He does everything. So it's really easy to play with him. And I trust him and he trusts me. So I'm going to make the right plays regardless.
Go ahead, Rod.
Also, I played with Garrick down in Vegas for the Pangos camp. That was my first time kind of seeing him play live. Catch and shoot, athletic, ultra. He's kind of athletic. He has sneaky bounce. Like, when you guys see Garrick, you're going to be like, I didn't know you can jump like that.
Yeah, he actually, it's an easy comparison for people to make because they're both from Texas, but he reminds some people around here of Matt McQuaid, who's currently on the MSU staff now. And he was kind of the same way. People don't think he was that athletic, and then they watch him go up, say, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know he could jump like that. I've seen clips of Garrick where he's getting up. So I agree with you. I think, and that's the thing that I think has a lot of Michigan State fans so excited about your class. And this includes you two, because I think you're a better athlete than sometimes you get credit for being. I saw those games in St. Louis. You were rim protecting.
Oh, yeah.
as a point guard. So I think that your group as a whole is going to give MSU next year an injection of athleticism that they haven't quite had for the last few seasons. So that's something that definitely has people excited about all four of you coming in.
Right. I think all four of us is, athletic, offensively and defensively, can guard. Like, everybody can guard, block shots. Just, I think once we get it going and get a feel and actually being able to play with each other and have practices, I think we should have a really good team next year.
Yep.
Yeah, going back to your recruitment, I'm curious, what was it that sort of tipped you towards Michigan State? Was there a specific time or sort of a thing about the culture or that convinced you that this is the place you wanted to end up?
I'd definitely say just the family experience, the culture. It really just felt like home.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those places you go and it's like I'm comfortable. I'm home. And I didn't really get that feel from no other school. And being able, Coach Izzo is going to be able to let me play, make mistakes, play through things, trust me. I trust him. Hall of Famer coach. The team they have now is already, good, has valuable pieces. Being able to recruit and also get some other good guys in my class. So everything was just all the puzzles fit together. And it just felt like it was the right choice. It still feels like the right choice. And every time I go back, this feels like home no matter what.
Do you watch a lot of the games or have an opportunity to?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I watch the whole Big Ten. I have Big Ten Network, so I usually don't game.
Well, I think we'll let you go. Thanks so much for being on, and we really appreciate it a ton. And I'm sure I'm as excited as probably everybody listening here to watch you come in and play with the green and white next year. So until next time, the Final Four is on the schedule. Go Green.